It's time for our Crown Jewel review. The first match we got on the card was going to be Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed in an Australian street fight. By the way, my name is Matt. Welcome to Assemble. So this match, I thought it really did deliver, and it was a lot of fun. I thought the whole show, top to bottom, was pretty darn entertaining, if you ask me. One of the key moments here was going to be when Roman Reigns was going to the outside of the ring, and then you had Braun Breaker jump the barricade at the exact right perfect moment and hit a spear on Roman Reigns. You had a shield powerbomb from Braun and Bronson to Roman and goes through the announce table. But then it felt like an ending to Monday Night Raw for a little bit, if you ask me, because then you had the Usos come out, Jimmy and Jay, and then they tried to intercept Braun Breaker. And while there's all the beatdowns and everything, so then you had in the ring, Roman Reigns was in there with Jay, and Jey Uso accidentally spears Roman through the table that was set up in the corner. Reed hits a tsunami on Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns loses. So this was the second loss Roman has taken in a number of years. I think this was the right move to make, honestly, because you want to give Bronson Reed something, give them momentum, the Vision momentum, because we'll talk about what happened at the end of the night with the main event there. You want to give Bronson Reed more to work with. This does that. Roman doesn't need it, and Roman just, it's the Roman Reigns thing, right? It's just Roman disappears for several weeks or months and inevitably comes back. But this was great because in the post-match, you had all of the tension and all the chatter between Jimmy and Jay and Roman. Roman delivered probably one of the best lines there they picked up. He said, "I don't want to talk to you until Christmas." That was the best for me. So there's all the tension now between Jay and Roman specifically, which is interesting because you had so much of Roman Reigns trying to push and build up Jay, you know, to do it his own way, to go after the title, not to listen to anybody else. Jimmy caught in the middle. Now you have more of that tension where Jimmy is trying to basically play like, you know, cooler heads between Roman and Jay. I like where this is going. Does this inevitably lead to a one-on-one match where it's Jay and Roman? Do you think Roman's going to be off TV for several months? Do you think on Monday Night Raw they're just going to do another beatdown angle? More needs to happen here, but I'm interested in also what does it mean for Survivor Series? Is it going to be a Vision, Usos, Roman Reigns Survivor Series type of match? You throw in Punk or something, but you have all of the tension in there. Well, it's an interesting story between Jay and Roman. Again, I think it's great. Bronson Reed won. I think it was the right move to make. Next, you have the Women's Crown Jewel Championship match. Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer. You had Devil's Butt Kiss versus Tiffy time, everybody. This was a good match. Didn't like the build at all because there was no build. They had the tag team match on SmackDown, but prior to that, it's just a lot of I respect you, let's go have a good match. And they did. They had a solid match. Kind of just glad this is over with. There's nothing really compelling here. Stephanie Vaquer picks up the victory. She is your Crown Jewel Women's Champion. She wins with the spiral tap, which is an awesome move in this thing. But both women looked great in the whole match. I enjoyed it. There's no complaints. There's nothing. It was fine. It's like an exhibition match. And that's fine. But you had weeks to build this. I think just the storytelling could have been there. They could have done something with it versus what we got for several weeks. Also, the Stephanie's build as champion has been very rocky, like from before she won the championship until now. I'm ready for Stephanie Vaquer to finally get competition, to get a match, a program, a feud with somebody that is prolonged for more than a month. What did you think of this match, though? Did it land for you? Does Tiffany now go back to fight Nia Jax and deal with Jade? Where are we going to go with either champion is my next question. Kind of a clean slate. I'm okay with that. I just want to see Stephanie Vaquer, now that they have built her as like Evolution Battle Royale champion, World Heavyweight champion, Crown Jewel champion, all within a few months. Now she needs a proper feud. Is it Rhea? Is it Asuka? Does she mix it up in all of that? Or does she do something entirely different? Now, match of the night, maybe Matt's little match of the year. AJ Styles versus John Cena one last time. Please comment below and let me know what you guys think. And also, if you enjoy reviews and what we do here, hit the subscribe button because it would mean a lot because we're trying to grow this thing. I love this match. I think it was fun, silly. There was tons of moves left and right. Yes, it was a finisher fest of call-outs to all the other finishers, but the crowd ate it up. To start off, though, I love AJ Styles' gear. I think it's a callback to TNA. It was wonderful. I wrote down in my notes, the thing that I liked about this match a lot is that there was like the first half and the second half. The first half was wrestling, where they did wrestling moves. That's literally like what I wrote down. I'm like, I like this match because they're doing wrestling moves, which is a really stupid, silly thing to say. But what I mean is so many WWE matches are just chops, slaps, kicks, corner, you know, turnbuckle, throw them into the post. They post themselves. Just a lot of just striking and slapping. And when I watched this match, especially the first half, I was like, they're doing moves that is flowing from one move to the next, and they're trying to one up each other. This was so well done. And then you have the second half, which was just a star-studded affair of callbacks. So some of them that I got written down here were Walls of Jericho, which was great, and I held my breath all night. I'm like, ooh, is Y2J gonna show up? Nah, nah. Sister Abigail. This got probably the biggest pop of the night. Cena does a Sister Abigail to AJ Styles, and then the crowd takes it up a step, and they do the full Fireflies, and they chant Bray and his song. It was awesome. Like, it just kept building. You had RKOs in there by Cena, a choke slam as well by John Cena. Obviously, throughout, you had attitude adjustments, you had Styles clash. Styles hits a sweet chin music onto John Cena. Now, here's the thing. I doubt this will actually happen, but AJ Styles is going to retire in 2026. Will Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania. Do they have AJ Styles' final match in Saudi Arabia against a retired Shawn Michaels? And they do it because it's Saudi and they want everyone who's retired or not with us anymore. But anyways, this thing kept going. The whole thing ended with a tombstone pile driver from John Cena that then turned into an attitude adjustment right after. John Cena beats AJ Styles in their final match together. I like that it ended with the tombstone pile driver because Styles is the one who had the final match with Undertaker with the Boneyard match, and Undertaker won that thing. It's just so much fun. Go out of your way to watch it, beginning to end. The crowd is insane throughout the whole thing. Both guys were phenomenal. They pulled off every move, and they just told a really fun, great story throughout. It just was that straight up exhibition match that I was hoping to get. You had no story other than vignettes, which was a bummer. I could have used the confrontations to build the story here. But the in-ring, as I said, even in my preview and predictions, I was like, this match is going to probably deliver, be match of the night. This was one of my favorite matches this year. It was so well performed. Both guys absolutely delivered. I can't say enough good things. Certainly just makes up for the Brock match. In retrospect, it's like, why do we even do the Brock Lesnar match? That made no sense now. Now I'm like, why were we doing this? And then the question's going to be, where do we go from here? Gunther is the reported, rumored final match for John Cena. We still have a few more dates, Survivor Series coming up. What do you do with Cena? Let me know what you think should be next. And also AJ Styles. AJ, now that he is retiring, you don't want to take away from John Cena's retirement as it's coming to a close. You still got a full potential, year of AJ Styles. What do you do with AJ now? He's lost to John Cena. Does he just roll back to being with like Dom Mysterio and going through the IC title? I would really love it if they took some time with AJ and they build him up to be a contender for the world title. A title that he has not held. He's been WWE champion, but that's a great feud and program you could do, which is Seth versus AJ Styles, especially as you get towards like the Royal Rumble. This match was so long, but then it got into the tag team match. You had Kabuki Warriors going up against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, Rhea being in her home country. Match was good. Like, it was really fun, hard hitting from everybody. I like the hot tag to Rhea. They build all of that up. And I like that the ending was going to be that Rhea tags in Io after she hit the Riptide to Kairi Sane. Io hits the moonsault. Good guys win, and there's that. But there was no shenanigans at the very end of this. So they didn't tell or extend this story at all. I figured that Kairi Sane was going to lose in this match, and she did. Do think that they will continue the story, and they can keep it going for a while. Because there's still the individual matchups you want to do. Asuka can get mad at Kairi now because it's like, well, she lost the match for them. They can still do more of the tag teams. They can try to split them off. Io versus Asuka one-on-one. I think there's way more story in here. Question mark, I still go back and say, who's going to go up against Stephanie Vaquer? Because the world title scene is very thin when you have all four of these competitors mixing it up together right now. There's more that needs to be done there, but I love this story. I think the match was great. It was a good kind of come down from the Cena AJ match. You didn't want something that was going to be like another big one-on-one match. So I like the placement and flow of this too. And you have your main event, the Crown Jewel Championship match, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Now, earlier in the night, they did make it kind of interesting where they had a moment with Paul Heyman, Bronson after the victory against Roman Reigns, where they were kind of talking about, are we going to go out to help Seth? Paul Heyman's like, no, he's going to do it on his own, one way or another. But they put the seeds in there. They planted everything for what could happen if Seth loses, that they're going to take care of things. Could we end up in a unique scenario? So I've always thought that with the Vision, the way they were going to break up, and it could be like a year away. The way I always seen them breaking up is very much like Evolution. Thumbs up, thumbs down. And they're going to put, Braun Breaker on their shoulders. Seth's going to thumbs down him. Braun Breaker's a good guy. He gets the Batista or Randy Orton spot, that kind of thing. And I know it was Randy on the shoulders in Triple H, but I'm saying that like they kind of recreate something like that. What if they flipped it? What if not to babyface Seth, but what if the Braun brothers, they turn their back on Seth Rollins? Like Braun Breaker spears the life out of Seth Rollins. I think that because they've planted the seeds of like, if Seth loses control at any point, they're probably going to walk away from him. And I like that because you could get them aligned for several more months, but eventually it can all come crumbling down. This match was long. It was well done. I liked the pacing of the whole thing. And I liked that Seth in the very beginning was very rushed. He was trying really quickly to do everything he can to beat Cody fast, and he was just pulling out every move. He's trying to do stomps and pedigrees, getting very frustrated, and Cody just kind of getting the best of him throughout the whole thing. They teased the watch at the very beginning. Seth's taking off the robe, and he's got the watch there from WrestleMania 40 that Cody gave him, and that came into play later on in the match. Well, later on in the match, at one point, Seth goes out of the ring and he grabs the watch and he starts debating if he's going to use it or not, like a brass knuckles, and he throws it down so he doesn't end up using it. Cody hits the Cody cutter, kick out. Rollins does huge move. He goes for a coast to coast on Cody Rhodes. And he has a coast to coast headbutt, which was just ridiculous. Now they played up the injury to Seth, whether it's real or not, but it looked like he was favoring his left like forearm and his wrist a lot after that. Wade Barrett was making commentary on it too. Seth may be slightly injured, we don't know. But when he landed the headbutt, they showed the replay so many times. You can see Seth landed like really hard, like mostly just on his forearm and his wrist. That might just lead him to being wrapped up and he might not wrestle for a few weeks. We don't know, but that was a huge spot. I loved it. And a top rope crossroads as well, which I don't know when the last time I saw that. And as Cody's going for a crossroads, Seth has the watch on. They knock the referee back, and then he punches Cody into the side of the head, and then he ends up getting the stomp on him. Then he goes for a second rope stomp, takes out Cody. Seth Rollins wins. I think this was great and the right move to make for Seth Rollins and what he's going through. He's struggling. He knew he had to do it on his own. He's lost every time to Cody. To me, Seth needed to win this thing. Cody doesn't need it. He can just go off to SmackDown, keep going, and he can complain that Seth didn't do it the right way. He hit him with the watch. So you can always roll back to that story. Seth needed this. It holds the vision together. And you know that guys like LA Knight, Jey Uso, Roman, Punk, they're all waiting there. Seth can be the big boisterous, cocky guy now that he's Crown Jewel champion. His wife's got the champion. He's double champ and his wife's a champ. Give the Braun brothers the tag titles, by the way. Just give them the tag belts so they're super strong. I thought the match was great. Really well put together. The whole show top to bottom, they really kind of nailed it. There was no bad. WrestlePalooza, I think the Brock match overshadowed so much for people. And it was okay, especially because WWE and Triple H, they pushed WrestlePalooza to be this huge, can't miss, must see thing, debuting on ESPN. Expectations were so high. And I think because we've been on such a lull, even creatively for WWE, they needed this. They needed to show that they could put on a solid show, 3-hour show, beginning to end. To me, they did. The Cena Styles match was absolutely the showcase. What's next for Seth Rollins, though? What's next for Cody? No interference, no vision, no nothing at the end of the night. Triple H was putting the belt on Seth, by the way, and I half thought that Triple H was going to turn around and pedigree him, just like he was doing when Kevin Owens won the belt on Raw. That's what I thought Triple H was going to do, just to shock us. I'm going to be optimistic that they could be getting into more of an upswing creatively. I really enjoyed SmackDown that they did in Perth. Raw is going to be in Perth as well, but there's nothing bad. That's good. And it's not that WWE has been crazy bad in ring. Everything's just kind of been neutral. And this didn't have crazy, shocking surprises, returns. You don't always need that. They just told interesting stories that I'm now looking forward to. Okay, what's next? We have Survivor Series. What are they going to do now creatively? This is where the weekly TV, they do need to step up to give us something big. You can't just have a 20-minute vision promo to start Raw or end Raw with a beatdown. Something big needs to go down to get us to Survivor Series. But what did you think of Crown Jewel? I thought I was thoroughly entertained. It's a morning wrestling, which I have discovered that is basically my favorite thing because I'm drinking coffee and I'm done by 11 a.m. So I really enjoyed it. What did you think of the show? Comment below if you guys can. Subscribe to the channel and click this video right here because we're talking more WWE, our SmackDown review from Australia. Have a great day. See ya.